So we're focusing on the upper body because it's another place that humans love to store stress, and it's been relatively stressful of late and all of 2020. And we also get really tight in our shoulders, neck, trapezius, upper body area from sitting, particularly if you sit like I did when I was your age to study, which was kind of like this or this. This was my mode. And notice my head, I don't have the natural curve in my spine and my head is forward. And if you take your towel and you lift it straight up, it's kind of balanced. And then if you bring your arm forward, all of a sudden your shoulder muscles start to need to engage a little bit, and it's gets to be a little bit of a pain to hold it here for an extended period of time, whereas here it's kind of chill. Same thing with your head. If your head ears are above your shoulders, it's all balanced on your spine, my buddy. But if you're forward, then all of a sudden your neck muscles have to engage in a way that makes your neck muscles basically seize up. So we're going to work on that today, starting with a variation of shoulder rolls. And so you're going to start with your arms in a T, and we're going to do shoulder rolls with our arms in a T and really focus on slipping and sliding your shoulder blades around and together and down and wide and however else you want to describe it, and switch directions. And kind of bring them down. And then we're from plank arms, we're going to do same thing, shoulder rolls. So, sorry. Again, try to get a lot, almost like scapular push-ups against air. And go both the other direction. Notice what your head might be doing. It may be off vertical, forward or to one side. Okay, shake it out a little bit. And then bring your fingers behind your head and push your head into your hands. And from here, we'll do butterfly elbows, basically. So bring your elbows towards each other and your neck down. And then as wide as your elbows will go, push back into your hands. And so it's, if you add breath, it's exhale as you go forward and inhale as you stretch back. And one more. And go ahead and release. I'm going to let someone in. And then you're back to our hands up behind our head, and just kayak your elbows. And try to bring your torso into it to just kind of get movement. And notice how your left side might be different from your right. And then backstroke. Oh, I'm already getting my shoulder into it. Ah, stretch. Cool. And then just really push into your hands and push your elbows wide. Go ahead and release. And then just whatever neck stretch you feel is good for you. Find your sweet spot of what needs stretching. And switch sides. And come on up, and we're gonna start on our backs. If Rama, if you're since you might want to grab a towel as a prop today. And so lie on your backs. I'm gonna face away from you just so you can see alignment a little bit. And my hands are gonna be behind my head, and I'm knees bent. And I would recommend feet about the width of your mat, so wider than your hips, and knees flopping towards each other. And then kind of settle in, maybe notice what your shoulder blades are doing. And start to connect with your breath. Particularly try to breathe in your rib cage area. I know we've been focusing on belly breaths, but thinking about, as we did last time, kind of a 360 breath, pushing your ribs into the ground a little bit, or expanding sideways, trying to create space in between each of your ribs into your intercostal muscles. And then try to relax your jaw and tongue. One of the ways to do that is to flutter your lips. Or sighing it out like with an ah. And then go ahead and lift your head off the ground, trying to pretend that your head is a bowling ball and not using your neck muscles to hold your head up, but allow your head to fall into your hands. And maybe it helps to wiggle your head from side to side to try to prevent your neck muscles from engaging. And then we're going to turn this bowling ball manually over to the right. And basically, we're going to try to set your head down on your right ear. That makes sense. We're going to tilt our head to the right and set your head down approximately on your left ear. And then you want your arms probably above, like either in a T or a U shape or a V shape, or whatever is right for your body and your shoulders. And then breathe into the areas where you feel stretch if you can. So maybe your neck muscles. Notice your jaw. Maybe flutter your lips. Then go ahead and reach your fingers underneath your head again. Lift up your head, bring it back to center so your nose is vertical. kind of reacclimatize with this idea of allowing your hands to support your head as opposed to your neck muscles. And then switch sides. So roll your head over to the left and approximately set your head down on your ear. And lay your arms out to the side, recommended palms up. Breathe into the areas of stretch. And sneak your fingers underneath your head again. Bring your head back up to vertical. Wiggle your head back and forth a little bit, and then gently set your head down on the ground. The next little exercise here is a lumbar stretch. So it's basically little pelvic tilts, almost like a baby bridge and a baby tuck. So push your heels into the ground and just tilt your pelvis like you're going to lift up into bridge. And then tilt your pelvis the other day and press down in your sacrum, your tailbone. Then press into your heels and stretch your lumbar spine one direction and press in with your tail and stretch the other direction. Gentle, simple, almost micro movements. And then one more set. Excellent. And then roll over to one side and put your upper arm palm to the ground and then press in with that palm and your lower arm and look down as you push yourself back up to sitting. And then we'll go into tabletop. Oh, actually, we'll go ahead and use our towels. So whatever you have, I'm just going to fold it in half and then roll it up. So it's a long, narrow tube. And depending on the size of your towel, your blanket, or whatever you're using, I'm going to line it up with my spine and lie on it. If you have a long towel, you can bring it all the way up to your butt, but your butt stays on the ground. And you want your head to be supported by your towel. So I need to have a little bit of space here, and then I'm just going to lie back on my towel. And again, my arms are going to be above a T position and whatever feels comfortable. And then just relax onto your towel or whatever you have as your support. See if you can allow your shoulders to approach the ground. Notice your jaw. Then again, roll over to one side or the other. Put your palm of your top arm on the ground and push into your palm, your bottom arm, looking down. Come on up to sitting again. And then we're going to turn our towel 90 degree, and it's going to end up kind of below your armpits. And if it's at your equivalent of your bra line, it's probably too low. So you might have to wiggle or adjust yourself um, over your towel. And then again, it's either right under your shoulder blades or on your shoulder blades, but it shouldn't be mid back or at your lower ribs. It's more of an upper rib stretch. And your arm should probably be above your towel with palms up at whatever angle feels comfortable. Let's see if you can breathe into your ribs. Press into your towel on your inhales and sink into your towel on your exhales. And once again, roll onto one side or another. Palm of your top hand to the ground and push up to sitting while looking down. And now we'll come into tabletop. And I'm going to keep basically going into a Persian version of puppy. And puppy is when you have your arms overhead. It's basically like down dog, but on your knees. I'm going to try to keep my thighs vertical. And so my headset, I don't know if my headset fell off. My forehead's going to come to the ground, and then I'm going to reach my arms overhead. Your forearms can be on the ground, or you can just be, or your elbows can be touching or not touching. You could, if you feel like you want to accentuate it, you would prop up on your fingers, hop up under your fingers. I feel this in my armpit area. So when you do yin yoga, we're going to hold poses for a minute. And your pain threshold should be, if it's a 0 to 10 rating, it should be definitely under a 5. Anything sharp, something's not right. And if you feel tingling, like your arms are falling asleep, that's not right. And so you're going to need to adjust or modify or do something to switch it so that you're not pinching something or causing yourself damage. And only you are going to know what's right. And this one, kind of imagine a pat of butter melting in between your shoulder blades. Adjust your head if you need to, if you're finding that you're getting too much pressure on your neck. You can even use your towel underneath your forehead if you want to raise up you get a little bit more breathing room. You might try bringing the palms of your hands together and then bringing your palms vertically. See how that shifts to be, for me, it shifts into my triceps a little bit more. Or you can try propping up on your fingertips if you want to see what that feels like. Or just stay where you are if you're reasonably comfortable. One more breath here, and then bring your elbows under your shoulders a little bit more and come on up. Awesome. Wow. Ah. And so I'm turning around so you can see what our next move is a little better. It's called thread the needle. And the imagery is that this is the eye of your needle and your arm is the thread. And so from tabletop, I'm going to bring my left arm up into a T and then slide it behind my right arm and then bring my left cheek down onto the mat. I'm going to try setting up a couple more times just so my body can find what the right positioning is of it. So this last time out into a T and then thread under your left arm and then or right arm, sorry, left cheek to the ground and settle in. So this is an upper back, shoulder and neck stretch. Breathe into those areas where you feel the stretch if you can. Notice your jaw. And if you want something else to do with your right hand besides be next to, it's kind of underneath your shoulder, you can extend it overhead like we were just doing in the last pose, or you can bring your right hand behind your back and rest it on your back somewhere to bring your right shoulder into this a little bit more. And if your arm starts to feel like it's falling asleep, then do some kind of an adjustment. One more big inhale here. Put your palm of your right hand next to under your shoulder again and push out back into tabletop. Maybe wiggle your shoulders a little bit. And then we'll switch sides. So my right arm into a T, and we'll try it a couple times, threading underneath, right cheek to the ground, and then coming up, just kind of setting up, feeling what's my body wants to do in this position. And then the third time and the third time down, we'll hold and stay in the position. And with my left hand, I can either leave it where it is, stretch it overhead, or bring my left hand behind my back. Breathing into the areas where I feel stretch. Trying to make space in my upper back. Allowing my neck to stretch. And one more breath here. Now I'm going to put my left palm back on the ground and push back up to tabletop and wiggle my shoulders a little bit, my neck. And then I'm going to set up for the next one. The next one's called Dragonfly. You're going to start on your belly. Forearms on the ground, elbows underneath my shoulders. And then I'm going to take my left hand and slide it underneath behind my right elbow, right? And then I'm going to fall onto my belly. So similar like we did the last one, except a little bit stronger. If you either stay here, or if you're up for it, make an X out of your arms. And this is why it's called dragonfly, because you look like a dragonfly. And then either put your chin in your X or dangle it, but try not to hold your head up. And you might try fluttering your lips. Breathing in your upper back. And one more breath here. And then wiggle your way back up onto your elbows. Do kind of figure eights or little wiggles of your shoulders, and we'll switch sides. So my right hand is going to thread behind my left elbow. I'm going to lower down onto my belly and either stay here, or if I want to try to make an X with my arms, then find something to do with my chin. Trying to relax my head or have my head be held or dangle. Adjust as needed, particularly if you're feeling any kind of tingly or sharpness. And breathe into your upper back. And this time, instead of a brr, try a sigh. So One more big breath here. And then kind of wiggle your way back onto your elbows. Wiggle your shoulders a little bit. And then we'll just stay in this position. It's called Sphinx. If you're pressed into your elbows and in your forearms and not having your shoulders near your ears, looking forward like you're a Sphinx, pressing in with your pelvis, your knees, your thighs, the tops of your feet. Breathing as you stretch into, for me, it's my belly. If you're having any kind of pinch in your lower back, really try to um, press in with your pelvis, or maybe you'll need to make your arms a little bit wider. So come down a little bit more. If you're not really feeling anything and you're feeling flexible, you're welcome to try to come up onto your hands. And then a variation of this is called seal, which instead of pressing out of your shoulders, you let your body sink in. So instead of pushing out like a sphinx, you drop down like a seal. And kind of relax your belly into your mat. Relax your neck in between your shoulders.
Miss Crompton? Miss Crompton?
And we'll come back into Sphinx just for a teeny second and actually just pull your skin of your forearms back towards your elbows. Press up into your forearms, push out. Come on out. Good. All right, we're going to come onto our knees for low lunge. We're going to do a variation of low lunge. Low lunge is called dragon pose. And the variation we have is, so my left leg is forward. So my right arm is going to cross my thigh. My left arm is going to cross over the top. And then I'm going to scissor my arms over my thigh and then lean forward. There's a lot of compression in your belly, you're crunched up, and a lot of opening in your upper back. And then see if you cannot hold your head up. See if you can dangle it or find a place to support your chin. And really breathe into your upper back. And one more big breath here. Come on out. If you want to put your towel under your knee to make it feel a little better, go ahead. We're just going to switch sides. So now my right knee is forward, so my left arm is going to be the one that's more towards my belly, and my right arm is going to cross over top. And I'm going to
Miss
crease
Crompton?
my X over my thigh. And find some place to put my chin. And breathe.
Miss Crompton?
Try to create more space in between your ribs.
Miss Crompton,
One more breath here. And then come on out and switch sides again. And this time, instead of having your knee lined up, wiggle your foot wide and drop into that space that you just created. Now, some of you might be on your palms. Some of you might prefer the tops of your fists. Some people might like blocks. If you're on the more flexible side, you might be able to come down onto your elbows. And for me, it's an inner thigh stretch. And see if you can let your left knee flop out to the side and how that changes the stretch for you. Some of you might not have any movement at all. Some of you might have a big flop. Keep your foot on the ground and just widen that out a little bit, at least energetically. See if you can let your head dangle and push out like a scapular push-up to really create space in between your shoulder blades. Maybe wiggle your head left or right to try to loosen some of those neck muscles that work so hard to hold your head up. And then bring your left knee back up to vertical if you have it flopped out, and come back up onto your leg. Bring that foot back in and push into your thigh and do a little bit of a back bend. If you want to let your arms dangle and shake out your shoulders a little bit, it's kind of fun. And then we'll switch sides. So start out in a regular lunge and then wiggle your foot wide to the right and then come into that space that you just created, either on your hands, on a block, on your elbows if you can do it, and or on your fists. And then push into the ground to slide your shoulder blades out, to the laterally. Shift them down this way. And then if you want to let your knee flop out to the right, let your head dangle. And breathe into the areas where you feel the stretch. Maybe give it a sigh. And one more big breath here. And then come on up to vertical. Wiggle your right leg back in and put your hands on your thigh and push back into a little bit of a mini back bend. You can let your arms dangle and shake them out if you want. And we're almost to our last couple of poses. We're going to go back onto our belly, and a lot of the most recent stretches have been of your upper back. And this time we're going to work on your upper chest from your belly. So you might want to watch first just to see what the setup is. And I'll do it from front ways and sideways, but just to see. So I'm on my belly. I'm going to put my, it's called starfish or sea star pose. Um, my left arm's going out into a T, or if you have sensitive shoulders, you might have it less than a T, like your arm towards your hip a little bit more. But I'm going to roll onto my left hip, bend my knees. If I want something underneath my head, I'll put it there, or I'll let my head dangle. And I can either stay here, or I have two more arm options. One arm option is to just grab my right foot for a quad stretch. Or I could bring my arm, float it overhead and back, approaching my left hand. With my knees, I either keep them stacked in like sort of a fetal position, or it's involved in that quad stretch, or I could bring my right knee to vertical. Okay, so that's starfish. I'm going to do it from a side view, and you can do it along with me. So lying on my belly, left arm into a T or slightly less than a T, roll over onto your left side, your left hip, bend your knees so you're kind of in the fetal position. Let your head dangle or put it on a block, and either stay here or float your arm over or grab your quad. I'm going to let somebody in. For the last 10 minutes of class. My headset doesn't like that. One more breath here. Release your left arm to back in front of your nose, and then roll back onto your belly, and we'll switch sides. For switching sides, I'll come up this way because I think you'll see it better. Okay, so right arm out into a T, roll over onto my right hip, bend my knees, either put my head on a block or let my head dangle, and either stay here or float my left arm over to approach my right, or grab my left foot for a quad stretch. Breathe into the areas of stretch, which could be your quad or your knee or your neck, your shoulder. Or someplace else. One more breath here. And then release your hand or back to in front of your nose, and then roll back onto your belly. Good job. Give yourself a little bit of a wiggle. And go ahead and pillow your hands and rest your head. If you want to, if your carpet isn't the most clean, roll out your towel. And try to relax into your belly. And your forehead into your hands. See if your hips can relax into the ground a little bit more. Shoulders. And then go ahead and come on up for our last pose before Shavasana, and it's called sewing needle. And basically, you make your body as long as you can go, really reach forward and reach back with your toes. And then I'm going to put my forehead to the ground, and I'm going to bring my index fingers together to make my needle. So this is another reason why the towel is kind of nice. It's almost like you're diving into water. It's an active pose, stretching and pressing into the ground. You won't hold it very long. See if you can get a little bit more length out of the back of your neck. Big belly breath if you can do it. Okay, come on out and find your favorite Shavasana position. I'm going to sit up for it and keep track of the time, but you find what's right for you and maybe you'll sit up too. So once you're in your favorite position, let's do a big sigh together. Let's do a little bit of a body scan after stretching maybe some areas that don't get much tension. Notice your jaw. Maybe flutter your lips. Notice your tongue. Maybe you can allow your head to sink into the ground a little bit more. Your shoulders. Your hips. See if you can soften some of the energy that might be in your belly. Let your legs sink in. Maybe you can allow gravity to hold you. Sink in like you're lying on warm sand. And start to lengthen your breathing again. Maybe sigh. Wiggle anything that needs wiggling. Give yourself a stretch if that feels good. And kindly bring yourself back up to sitting. And may the inner light in you reflect the inner light in me. Namaste.